Hello, 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 hello. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro here. It's an amazing Sunday. And I'm very excited to be connecting here with you to share with you some very powerful information that is having a profound impact in the quality of my life, and as a result I want to share the love with you. So I'm airing this live broadcast. I'm airing it on my Facebook personal page, on my timeline, but this is also going to show up in the Alpha Success Network, and it's also going to show up in the Velvet Mastermind Club. And the message is actually primarily for the Velvet Mastermind Club, but I do a lot of my lives on Facebook, on my personal timeline. So the conversation that we're going to be exploring today is how to become a lifestyle champion. We're talking about the religion of goal setting. And I want you to really just take a moment and just think about where you are right now in your life. And I want you to think about where you want to end up, you know, like the future, like the end goal. And I want you to realize that the gap that exists between where you are right now and where you want to end up is purely a gap that is based on your ability to be crystal clear on your end destination, your ability to be crystal clear on your motivation, to be crystal clear on the reasons why you want to accomplish those dreams, to be crystal clear on the skills that you must develop, to be crystal clear on the type of person that you must become, crystal clear on the type of energy that you're going to need to realize your vision, realize your dream, realize your aspirations. So let's get into the conversation here that we got going on. I call it goal setting for massive happiness, health, and success. Goal setting for massive happiness, health, and success. And I'm going to be walking you through about 11 points, 11 things that I have discovered over this whole week, right? The whole of these 7 days, the only thing that I did, to be honest with you, was just like literally just become crystal clear on my 1-year goal, on my 2-year goal, on my 3-year goal, on my 5-year goal, on my 10-year goal. And I became very familiar with the process of goal setting. And over the next few minutes we have here together, I'm going to share with you some powerful information. And I'm going to begin the conversation backwards. By sharing with you the last thing that I discovered in my process of goal setting, right? Most of the times when people don't realize their goals, it could be a goal to do with their relationship. It could be a goal to do with their fitness. It could be a goal to do with their money game. Most of the times when they don't realize that goal, it is because that they haven't developed the energy that is needed to make that goal a reality. Okay, they haven't developed the energy that is needed to make that goal a reality. So I want you to really begin to realize that the gap that exists is also one of energy, and you would definitely you're going to need to be at a peak energy level to accomplish your dreams. And that's why I began this video, you know, with my little winner's dance, with my little champion bounce, with my little Maasai bounce, because I have realized that my ability to raise up my energy is going to be responsible for the realization of my dreams. So we began backwards. We're going to get back and revisit that subject of energy. Right now, I'm going to go to the beginning, and I want you to take a moment. I want you to take a moment, get a cup of tea, put some nice music in the background, and I want you to begin to visualize. I want you to begin to visualize where you'd like to end up, right? Where do you want to end up 1 year from now? Where do you want to end up 2 years from now? Where do you want to end up 3 years from now? Where do you want to end up 5 years from now? Where do you want to end up 10 years from now? Because I can wholeheartedly assure you that if you don't plan, if you don't think about it, if you don't envision your end goal, you're not going to realize it. And 5 years are going to pass, 10 years are going to pass, and you're going to look back and you're going to realize that you actually wasted your life. And I want you to realize that at the end of your life, when you're looking back, are you going to look back in your life from a perspective of that you're very, very fulfilled, you're very, very happy with the accomplishments that you realized? Or are you going to look back in regret, right? So let us begin correctly. The first step to goal setting for happiness, health, and success is to really become crystal clear on your direction. So I want to encourage you to get a pen and paper, right? And begin to articulate where you want to be 1 year from now. Begin to articulate where you want to be 1 year from now. The house that you're living in right now, is it your ideal home? Are you living in your ideal home? Or do you want to live in a better home? Do you want to live in a better neighborhood, right? Right now, are you in an ideal relationship, right? Or are you single? What is your vision for 7 months from now at the end of 2020? Do you want to be in a relationship? Or if you are already in a relationship, do you want that relationship to be vibrant, to be exciting, to be passionate, to be filled with love? Right? What about your money game? What about your money game? The income that you're earning right now, right? Let's say you're earning $1,000. Let's say you're earning $2,000. Are you happy with $2,000? Or do you want to be cashing out $5,000? Do you want to be cashing out $10,000 7 months from now? Right? I want you to write these things down. I want you to write these things down. I want you to write these things down. Because the moment you write it down on a piece of paper, right, the creative process begins. Andrew, Agre, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. I'm going to give you a wave right here because we're talking about happiness, health, and success. And it's exciting to have you here. I'm going to share with you some jewels of wisdom. So ladies and gentlemen, once you begin the process of writing down your goals, you actually begin the creative process, right? When you write down your goal on a piece of paper, you're actually setting up the commitment. You're setting up the commitment to actually go for your dreams, right? 90% of people don't write down their goals on paper. So all of these right here are goals that I wrote over the past 7 days, right? So I want you to do the same thing. Write it down for 1 year. Write it down for 2 years. Write it down for 5 years. And write it down for 10 years. This is a very, 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 very important step, and you'll see why as we progress on this workshop, this goal-setting workshop that we have here together. And once you've written down all of your goals, what you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to become in your life, I want you to really just focus on the 1 year goal for now, right? I want you to focus on the 1 year goal for now. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you focus on the 1 year goal and you actually begin to create the momentum to become the person that you want to become, to create the right mental and emotional health, to create the right physical fitness, to create the right bank account, to create the right relationships. If you begin setting this foundation correct over the first year, then it's going to be easier to accomplish your 2, 5, and your 10-year goals. Right? So we're going to focus on the 1 year goal, but throughout this process, we're going to keep the 2, 5, and 10-year goals in our periphery. And I'm going to explain to you how we're going to do that. Right? So once you have your 1 year goal written down, and you also have your 1, 2, 5, and 10-year goals written down, I want you to do something that I'm sure you have never ever had people talk about in the goal setting space, right? Whether you look on YouTube, what I'm going to share with you right now, I'm telling you, you haven't had this before. I want you to actually take your goals, right? So for me, I have my goals in some small pieces of paper, And I take these goals and I take them with me to nature, right? To nature. And regardless of what part of the world you're in, right? If you're in Kenya, if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, if you're in the North Pole, there is access to nature. So for me, the access to nature is like a couple of minutes from my place. Welcome, Jack. Welcome, Jack. Thanks for the workout. Right outside is like, a forest is close to my place. So I just step out to the forest with my goals and I go and sit inside there for about 20, 30 minutes. Several times I head out to West Vancouver. I go out to the beach and I just sit down with my goals, right? I sit down with my goals out there in the beach. And the reason I'm telling you to do this is because when you go out into nature where there's an expansive space, where you are connected to the source of intelligence, then you're going to begin to get a lot of ideas. You're going to begin to get a lot of ideas of actually how to actually accomplish those goals. And the first thing that I want you to think about when you're out there in nature, in the forest or by the beach with your goals, I want you to begin to think about the reason why you have that goal written down on a piece of paper, right? You have written down that you want to make $10,000 by the end of 2020. Well, why do you want to make $10,000 by the end of 2020, right? You've written down that you want to move from this neighborhood to that neighborhood, right? Myself, I have a vision to move to a certain penthouse, right? So I write down why I want to be in that penthouse. What it's going to do for my feeling of success. What it's going to do for the time I'm going to spend with my intimate partner. What it's going to do for my ability to create the environment of success. So I have the reasons for why I want to make money. I have the reasons for why I want to be healthy. I have the reasons for why I want to be fit. I have the reasons for why I want to make a major contribution in the world. I'm crystal clear on why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And when you begin to develop the reasons, then you begin to develop the inspiration, you begin to develop the motivation. I believe it was Jim Rohn who said that reasons come before action. I think it was something like that. Reasons come before motivation. So you want to get clear on the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. And I want you to realize that one of the main reasons that you may have not accomplished a certain vision or goal that you have set out for yourself is because you haven't developed a certain skill set, right? So one of the gaps that exists between where you are and the goal and the vision that you want to realize is a gap of skill sets. So I want you to sit back on that 1 year goal. Also have your 2 and 5 year goals in your periphery. I want you to look at that goal and ask yourself, what specific skill set do I actually need to realize this goal? So for me, one of my goals is in the arena of business, right? I have a humongous financial goal that I want to manifest, that I will manifest in the next 10 years. And I've already identified the gaps that exist in my business acumen, right? One of my goals is to empower billions of souls universally to achieve success in all areas of their lives. And I'm going to do that using the gift of my God. And therefore, I know that one of the skills that I need to develop at a very, very high level is the skill of public speaking. You see where I'm going with this? So look at your goal, the goal that you have written down. And now you're in nature. You're sitting down in nature. You're thinking about the reasons that you need. So you think about the reasons as to why you are pursuing that goal. But at the same time, when you think about the reasons as to why you're pursuing that goal, you're also at the same time beginning to think about the skills that you're going to need. Okay? So here's a funny thing. If you walk down the street and you stop 100 people and ask them, hey, do you want to be happy, healthy, and successful? Right? All of them are going to say, yes, I want to be happy, healthy, and successful. But the crazy thing about people is that 90% of them are not going to put in the effort to learn the skill that they're going to need to take the game to the next level. So my neighbor here, Jack, is he's a super good personal trainer and a lacrosse coach. Right? Now, if he wants to take his game to the next level, he knows he's going to have to develop certain skills to become like the #1 international lacrosse coach, to become the #1 online personal trainer. So the skills are what are going to help you bridge that gap. And now I'm going to reveal to you something that I discovered when I was out in nature again, that blew me away when I was going through this goal setting process this week. I was sitting down over there and I looked at my goals, right? I looked at my goals, I looked at my financial goal, I have a financial goal to be a billionaire in 10 years. I looked at that goal. I looked at my goal to be a major impact in the globe. I looked at that goal. And I asked myself, right? I asked myself a question when I was out in nature. I said, who do I have to become to achieve that goal of being a billionaire? Who do I have to become to achieve that goal of inspiring billions of people globally? Who do I have to become? And I sat back and I started thinking of, well, how does an ultra successful person think? How does a billionaire think? How does someone who's changing the globe think? Right? Well, I realized, well, this person thinks with a lot of confidence. This person doesn't follow their heart. This person makes his own decisions. This person is self-confident. This person has absolute self-belief. This person has absolute high emotional intelligence, right? And when I was beginning to think about the person that I need to become, I began to see gaps inside my own personality. I began to see weaknesses in my own personality. I began to see weaknesses that will actually stop me from actually achieving the vision and the goal that I have for my life. So now I'm very clear on the person that I need to become to achieve my goals. I'm very clear about how I am emotionally, how I am mentally, how I am physically, how I am in the external world in terms of relationships. I'm crystal clear about that person. So now, to bridge that gap, I gotta engage in personal growth and development. Right? I gotta get the right mentors. I gotta get the right books. I gotta expose myself to the right information. I have to access the right data that I need to transform, right? To transform into this person that I'm seeing in my mind 10 years from now. I gotta transform into that person, right? This is where personal growth and development comes in. So when we're talking about the gap, there's a gap that exists as it pertains to the skills, and then there's a gap that exists as it pertains to the person that you gotta become. You see, the truth about the matter is that the results that you're experiencing in your life right now, the results that I'm experiencing in my life right now, are the final phase of the thoughts that you have thought in the past. It is the final phase of the actions that you have engaged in the past. It is the final phase of the emotions that you have engaged in the past. Therefore, if you want to create a new reality, you're definitely going to have to think new thoughts. You're definitely going to have to take new actions. You're definitely going to have to display new emotions. And that's a completely different person. And that is where the personal growth and development comes in, right? And these things, I discovered these things myself when I was out in nature. I'm just getting the answers downloaded to me. And when I'm in that environment, you know, I'm beginning now to think about, well, what is the strategy? And I'm thinking about an overarching strategy. I'm not thinking about a strategy of something that I do today or I do tomorrow. I'm thinking about, for my 2020 goal, where I want to be by the end of this year, the kind of income that I want to generate, the kind of person I'm going to be intimately involved with. I'm thinking about the overall strategy that I need to take to start moving in that direction. So when you're in this environment where there's no distractions, right? When you're out in nature, when you're out by the beach, when you're out in the forest, I want you to start thinking about like the overarching strategy that you definitely must take in order to begin to realize your dreams, to realize your aspirations, to realize your goals, right? Strategy is a product of creativity. Creativity is a product of gaining access to your subconscious mind and getting access to information that's deep in there just based on your own personality. And also getting access to, when I'm out in nature, I can get access to inspiration from infinite intelligence. And that takes us on to the next aspect of goal setting for massive success, happiness and health. I call this very, very simply daily reflection and thinking time. Daily reflection and thinking time. So myself, when I get up in the morning, I have my cup of lemon water. And when I'm having my lemon water, I'm normally thinking about my goals. But two things that I'm doing that are really helping me is, like I told you, I got all my goals written on these pieces of paper, right? And the first thing that I do is these pieces of paper are always in my pocket. They're always in my pocket. So anywhere that I am throughout the course of the day, I'm actually thinking about my goals because they're in my pocket. So unconsciously, I'm thinking about my goals. And when I have a moment, I just take it out and I read. Well, okay, I'm looking at my materialistic goal right now. I'm looking at, okay, I got to get a penthouse, by this date. Okay, so now I'm thinking about it repeatedly. So what happens is that out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. I want you to understand out of sight, out of mind. When you keep something in your mind repeatedly, then you actually begin to develop this thing called focus. You begin to develop this thing called tunnel vision, right? And when you begin to develop this thing called tunnel vision, then you don't see anything else outside of that range. And that means you're able to harness your energy, your emotions, and your thoughts and your actions towards the realization of those goals. Another thing that I'm doing in terms of daily reflection and thinking time is, like, I'm so adamant on this thing about nature, because I want you to be away from everything. I want you to be away from all distractions and take your goals and read them, when you're by the beach or when you're in the forest, and just read them, and then just think about them, okay? Just think, okay? You're not thinking in a structured format, right? You're just letting the thoughts flow. You're just letting the thoughts flow, right? You read, you let the thoughts flow. And then what happens is that there is this crazy creative process that begins to take place inside of your mind, and then you go to sleep and you get up in the morning with an idea, right? You're like Leonardo da Vinci, right? You're coming up with creative ideas, right? So that's something that I'm really implementing. So daily reflection and thinking time. What I'm going to share with you right now is powerful. It's powerful. It's called daily programming through affirmations and images. Daily programming through affirmations and images, right? If you want to achieve a certain goal, well, one of the reasons that you haven't achieved that goal up until now is that your mind has not been conditioned to live in the reality of that goal. Okay? It has not been conditioned to live in the reality of that goal. So, what you want to do is you want to engage in the use of affirmations. I'm going to talk about affirmations and I'm going to talk about images. So myself, every single morning when I get up, right, once I finish taking a shower, when I'm still in the alpha mode, I look at the mirror, I look at myself in the mirror, right, I look at myself in the mirror and I repeat out my affirmation, like with a lot of emotion, with a lot of energy, with a lot of gusto. It's coming from like my solar plexus. I'm reading out, hey, I, Mario Pedro Gould, I'm now doing this, that. And I'm just repeating that. I'm just emotionalizing it. Therefore, what I'm using is I'm using my voice and I'm using my ears to hear my goals. And then the next thing that I do is, as soon as I walk out of the bathroom, I sit down on my desk and I write down that goal, right? I'm right-handed, but I don't write down my goal with my right hand. I write down my goal with my left hand. I started doing this about 3 months ago. I have never written with my left hand. And when I started doing this 3 months ago, I noticed it was just painful just to write with my left hand. My writing was ugly, and it took me like 15 minutes just to write my goal. Well, you may say, hey Pedro, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I'm doing that because I'm like literally being forced to be present, right? And I'm drilling that goal into my subconscious mind, because I'm using a different part of my body. Like I'm writing with my left and I'm activating a different part of my brain. So this is what I do in the morning, right? And I do the same thing at night, right? At the end of the day, I'll take a shower, I'll read my affirmation in the mirror, and I'll do the writing down process, right? And now I want to talk about daily programming through the use of images. So right now, even when I'm talking to you guys, at the back over there, I got my TV playing, I got some music playing, I got some images playing of the kind of success I want to attract in my life, the home I want to live in, the environment that I want to be in, the type of cars I want to drive, the type of woman I want to date. I have those images playing everywhere, right? Those images are on my laptop, on my desktop saver, they're on my phone. So therefore, like literally everywhere I go, I'm bombarding my mind with the images of the reality that I want to create. You see, I don't live in the present moment, right? If I got problems in my world right now, I don't live in the present moment. I live in the future. And I'm just waiting for my present moment to catch up to me, right? I'm just living in my future every single day, every single moment. In my mind, I'm already a success. In my mind, I'm already healthy. In my mind, I'm already happy. And when I open my eyes, I'm just waiting for this reality to actually catch up to me. So this is using the images, because the thoughts that you're thinking right now, the emotions that you're feeling right now, the reality that you're creating right now is purely a product of the images that have come into your subconscious mind from your five senses, right? Your senses are what? What is it that you're hearing repeatedly, right? What is it that you're seeing repeatedly, right? What is it that you're smelling repeatedly? You know, when you hang in a prosperous environment, you smell good things. I live in North Vancouver right now. The air is fresh, it's prosperous. I'm smelling good air. I'm not living downtown anymore. You know, what is it that you're tasting? What is it that you're touching? So you want to activate and use your senses to really help you move towards the realization of your goals, and as a result, move towards the realization of what? Of your aspirations. And the next thing I want to share with you is creating the environment of success. Creating the environment of success. This is different from the previous conversation on daily affirmations and images. When I talk about creating the environment of success, I'm talking about looking at certain people who have already achieved the success that you really want to achieve in your life, and finding a way to get into their sphere, right? Get into their presence and begin to watch them very closely, begin to listen to them very closely, begin to watch every single thing that they're doing very closely. Because when you begin to watch and interact with people who are already where you want to end up, by osmosis, their behavior, their thoughts, their emotions, and their actions are going to seep down into you, right? So maybe you don't have the privilege of being close to these individuals in real life. Well, it's a beautiful time in history, because right now you can take advantage, for the moment, you can take advantage of the social media space and find the 5 people that you really want to get close to and just immerse yourselves in their world and just really watch what it is that they're doing repeatedly. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, success leaves clues. It leaves clues, and you gotta become a detective. You gotta become a Sherlock Holmes. You gotta become able to sniff out the clues that people are leaving for you to actually pick up if you're paying attention. And similarly, failure leaves clues. So you can watch people that are failing and you can decide to take a different route. We're talking about creating the environment of success, creating the environment of success, creating the environment of success, creating the environment of what? The environment of success. And here's something that's very deep for you. If you begin to look at the people that are living a high level of success, right? The people that you have immersed yourself in their environment, you'll begin to notice something that is common to all of them. All of them. And I beg you to counter if you do not see this phenomenon. And this is the phenomenon that you're going to observe. All of them that are achieving the success that you want to achieve, that are living the happiness that you want to live, that have the health that you want to have, that have the fitness that you want to have, you will notice that they have the energy of success. Well, what is the energy of success? The energy of success is how I began this presentation, right? If you look at someone that is achieving a high level of happiness in their lives, you will notice they have a high level of energy, right? They have a high level of energy. If you notice a couple that is having a vibrant relationship, you will notice there's a lot of energy in that relationship, right? One of the biggest reasons relationships break up is because, you know what? There's no energy in that relationship. And actually, I'm biased. I believe that the man should bring the energy into the relationship. I believe that the man should actually initiate the energy in the relationship, right? Because when he does that, he increases the passion inside of that relationship. So this shows up in relationships, right? This shows up in your health, right? That's why I'm a fanatic about health and wellness. I'm a fanatic about health and fitness. I'm a fanatic about energy, right? I was lucky before I began this Facebook Live, my homies were walking out outside. You know, Jack, my neighbor, were walking outside. So I jumped up for a quick 10 minutes, you know, just pumped out some weights because I knew that I wanted to raise my energy up, right? So what is it that you got to do to raise your energy to the next level? You know, are you eating the right food? Are you engaged in, you know, resting well, resting and recuperation, right? Are you treating your body well? Are you reducing the amount of negative thoughts that you're thinking? Because negative thoughts drain your energy, right? And I want you to like literally just begin to take your energy off the roof. Like begin to take your energy off the roof, right? When I began this presentation, I was like, yeah, yeah, let's go, man. Like, let's go, right? I'm just raising up my energy. I'm raising up my energy, right? And that's my style, right? You can do your style. So mine is that, sometimes it's just like just dancing, because I know that for the financial success I want to create, right? I know that for the level of contribution that I want to create in the world, I know that for the ultimate happiness, for the ultimate health and success, I'm going to have to be like turned up, right? I'm going to have to be like turned up. I'm going to have to be like on freaking fire, like all the time, so I can raise everybody around me. And when I raise everybody around me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to create a positive force in the world. And that's the same thing with you. This is one of the biggest secrets. This is one of the biggest secrets to goal attainment. If you look closely, when people are not achieving their goals, well, guess what? Their energy is freaking low. It's freaking low. So when you're out in nature, I can guarantee you that if you ask, well, how can I increase my energy? How can I increase my energy? You're going to get the answer in nature. You're going to get the answer in nature. There are ways to increase your energy. So I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, writing down your goals, articulating your goals, going for your goals is both an art and it's a science, right? It's an art and it's a science, and it's a long-term game. It's a long-term game. 1, 2, 5, and 10 years. And I wanted to come over here and just give you like an overview of the process. And I'm very, very excited because over this whole week I've been working on the process of goal setting. And I actually created an audio that is called Goal Setting for Massive Happiness, Health, and Success. Goal Setting for Massive Happiness, Health, and Success. And it's an audio. And I have placed this audio in my website. This is alphasuccessnetwork.com, alphasuccessnetwork.com. So if you want to really, really get deeper into this, this material, I want to encourage you to just go back to my website and access that audio and begin to listen to it and begin to implement the ideas that I'm sharing in there in your life. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Thank you very much for coming on here. Thank you very much for stepping in to this presentation. And I want to really, really encourage you to begin to think about your vision, to begin to think about your goals, and to begin to get on the journey towards the realization of your dreams, because it is true that you are bound to be successful. And we gotta finish it in the same way that we began, right? We gotta finish it in the same way that we began. Yeah, you gotta just take your energy up. I don't care what it is that you're doing, just take your energy out. You gotta be turned up. 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 You gotta be turned up for the success that you want to realize in your life. My encouragement to you is to stay tuned to the Alpha Success Network. We are in all of the social media platforms. Stay tuned to the Velvet Mastermind Club. We are in all the social media platforms, and I'm going to be continuing to come here, just based on my mood, every couple of days, do a Facebook Live, drop you guys some information. Hopefully you can use the information, you can achieve success in your life, and let me know that, hey Pedro, what you shared with us did work. Yeah. Bye-bye, my friends. Bye-bye. Andrew, kwaheri, 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 kwaheri.